So good morning to everybody. Thank you for coming along. Appreciate the time that you've given up. We have an interesting and fun-filled day, but actually we have quite a serious purpose, which is to engage in a conversation that will allow us to develop a strategic vision that we can articulate through Sacia, and in that process will allow us to better serve our members and the industries that we are active in. From a Sacia perspective, I'm going to kick off very briefly, just talking a little bit about Sacia. It will be very brief. I'm then going to introduce Anton Baumel, who will go through the process that we're going to follow during the course of the day. And from that point on, I'm going to ask each of the special interest groups to come up and deliver a very short 10-minute max presentation that outlines what it is that they're doing, what their vision is for the future. I expect that entire process will take probably around an hour and a half, and once we've gone through it, we're going to break up into groups and talk amongst ourselves so that we can explore opportunities that will allow us to expand going forward. There's a broad spectrum of people in the room today. About half the people are members, about half the people are not members. About half the people have professional designations. Take a guess how many don't have professional designations. It'll be the other half. And during the day, I recognize that you've kind of paired off into little groups where you all know each other. And that's grand as a start, but during the course of the day, you're going to do some activities in these groups that you've established. You're going to do some activities in other groups. You're going to do some activities on your own. You're going to do some activities all together. So it's going to be, as I said right at the beginning, a fun-filled, exciting, and valuable day. A little bit about Sacia. So I think we have the strategy workshop every second year. We hosted it for the first time in 2012, and we had about 10 people participating. We repeated it in 2014, and we doubled up. We had perhaps 20 people participating. In 2016, we had an event out in Krugersdorp. Had to pack your lunch in order to get to the venue, but it was a very nice venue. And many of the people here today participated in our 2016 event. And of course, now this is our 2018 event that will allow us to develop a strategy going forward, specifically for the next 2 years, but more importantly, I think we want to take a long-term vision about who we are and where we're going and how we engage with the marketplace. One of the key things that came out of our strategy workshop in 2000, and I have to turn this on, in 2016, that we positioned Sacia as an umbrella body that would provide or act as a home not only for our existing Sacia activities, but for all of the other associations that were active in related spaces. So I'm very pleased that there are a number of alternate associations that are participating in this event today. What does it mean to be an umbrella body? Is that essentially we've said Sacia at the moment, we have 6 special interest groups in various fields. I'm not going to go through each of them. But the question that we ask is, who else do we want to be engaging with them? This is one of the questions that we want to explore today. Who should we be working with? What other associations do we want to engage with? And how do we communicate with them? And I think that's an important kind of consideration. So I brought along with me, actually I didn't, Wynand brought along with him, a potjie. And I just want to have a little conversation about this potjie and what it means. I think that everybody's cooked in a potjie. So you think, oh, here's a cooking pot. And of course it is a cooking pot. But I want to use this potjie as an example of excellence. What is it that we're trying to achieve within Sacia? We're pursuing excellence in all aspects of the communications industry. So I want to put the pot on the floor and talk a little bit about excellence. What do we need if we want to promote the adoption of ethical business practices and professional standards in the industry? How do we go about pursuing excellence? And the answer is that as a starting point, what we need is to have a firm, we need the tools that are in place to allow that excellence to manifest. So what are the tools? We need to look at our constitution, and I sent everybody a copy of these documents in advance. We need to look at the National Qualifications Framework Act, which is the body that we work under, or the statute that we work under, and we need to engage with our members, and we need to talk about what it is that you want, and how do we build together an industry that delivers value. So that's the kind of the fuel that fires the grub in our poikie. So the Constitution, Qualifications Framework Act, and the people. Then what we want to do is to ask, how do we keep it standing steady? So for those of you that haven't figured it out, a poikie has 3 legs. And what do those 3 legs represent? A commitment to standards, a commitment to training, and a commitment to recognition through a formal certification process. Standards, training, and certification are the 3 legs that our poikie puts on, or stands on. And then we're looking to pursue excellence. So how do we measure excellence? How do we measure competence? And we measure competence by exploring the 4 E's of excellence. So we look at education, we look at business ethics, we look at an individual's work experience, and then finally we look at a scenario in which we conduct an assessment or an examination, and we award professional designations to individuals that meet all of those criteria. So that's the 4 E's of excellence. And those are all issues that we're going to be talking about during the course of the day. As far as standards are concerned, we work with a number of stakeholders, both local and international. Lieb works with me on the technical committee developing safety standards for live events, and specifically safety standards for the theatre industry. But we work with international bodies as well. We've just signed an agreement with ESTA, which is the Entertainment Services and Technology Association in the US. We have a long-standing relationship with AVIXA, which used to be called Infocom. We have a long-standing arrangement with the Society of Broadcast Engineers. So it's about taking international standards and embedding them within our industry sector. We also have an active training program. Again, we work with a number of training providers, and Natalie Delport is going to be talking about our training initiatives later on. And then certification. So we currently have 10 professional designations that we award, and the question is, how do we promote those more effectively, and how do we develop new professional designations that allow us to add value to the marketplace?